On Sunday take the number of wounded since Friday to more than 170 at a tense time when the Jewish Passover festival coincides with the Muslim fasting month of Ramadan. They also follow deadly violence in Israel and the occupied West Bank starting in late March, in which 36 people have been killed. This comes as Israel's fractious governing coalition faced a new split on Sunday when Arab-Israeli party Ra'am suspended its membership due to the violence. Well, joining me now from Tel Aviv is journalist Jotam Confino. Welcome to the programme. Let's just break this down because it's only recently that Israel received a new government, one that ended Benjamin Netanyahu's very long time as Prime Minister of that country. Yet now things seem to be, as ever, I suppose, in Israeli politics, pretty unstable.
Very unstable and correct. You said that it's been in power less than a year now. Naftali Bennett, the prime minister, will likely break the record as the prime minister who's been in charge the least time and the shortest time. And this coalition is really unstable right now because it doesn't have a majority. Last week, Naftali Bennett, the prime minister's party member and colleague, withdrew from the coalition very abruptly. She didn't say anything to the prime minister. It was leaked to the media. So now the coalition basically has 60 mandates and the opposition has 60 mandates. On Sunday, just to make things worse, the Islamist Arab Party that is part of the coalition announced that their 4 mandates that they have in the coalition will likely, they will suspend their ties, basically freeze their membership of the coalition until further notice. And their explanation for doing this is the escalation and the violence that we've seen in East Jerusalem on the Al-Aqsa compound. We have to remember this is an Arab Islamist party. So for them, the Al-Aqsa Mosque is very holy, as for the rest of the Palestinian and Muslim Arabs in Israel and the Palestinian territories. And they said they can simply not accept that Israeli security forces are storming the Al-Aqsa compound, as they say, while still being part of the government. So they announced yesterday that they're freezing their membership. It's rather symbolic because they aren't completely withdrawing, but it looks very shaky. And in a couple of weeks from now, we will likely see more escalation when the parliament is back from recess.
It's remarkable that this coalition has lasted as long as it has. Looking at the membership of it, you have, of course, an Arab-Israeli party in it. You also have some that are seen to be on the furthest right of the political spectrum within the Knesset as well. I suppose we're looking potentially at the collapse of the government when Parliament returns.
Exactly. This is what everyone is gambling on. Of course, it's very unpredictable in Israeli politics in general to really say anything about which way the wind is blowing. But right now, with 60 mandates, not having a majority, and with another party threatening to leave, it really looks bad for Naftali Bennett, the prime minister. And as you said earlier, now it's one of the most diverse coalitions in Israel's history, ranging from far right parties to far left parties. And what they have in common, really, is a hatred, so to say, political hatred towards Benjamin Netanyahu, the former prime minister, the prime minister who's been in charge the longest time in Israel's history. They all cannot be in a government with him. They refuse to have anything to do with him, even though a lot of the parties in the government are actually his natural partners. They're right-wing parties, but they simply won't sit in a government with him. And one of the reasons is, of course, that he's right now on trial for corruption, 3 cases against him. But we will likely see another round of elections this spring, maybe during the summer. And it's really not good for a country to have so many elections and so much political instability, especially when the security situation on the ground is as fragile as it is right now. We see that in East Jerusalem.
Yes, really remarkable to see so many electoral events. I thought the United Kingdom was having quite a lot of electoral events over the last 6 years. Nothing compared to what Israel has been through. I believe there were 3 elections in the last 2 years or something close to that. Would there be a chance of Benjamin Netanyahu making the most extraordinary comeback in the event of more elections? Or just finally in this conversation, do you think that Benjamin Netanyahu's political career at the top of Israeli politics, as he has been for decades, is that now finally over?
I think you cannot dismiss Netanyahu. He is by far the most experienced politician in Israel today. He's the most cynical politician, and he is planning his comeback. So he's betting, he's gambling everything he has on this current coalition, the government falling, elections to be held, and for him to make a comeback, and really to avoid jail time by having a majority that can vouch for him and get him out of an out of jail free card, basically. So I wouldn't dismiss Netanyahu, even though it looks like an uphill battle for him.